welcome back to my channel. What are we doing today? Today I am looking at these Pointer Pastels watercolor set that I got right here in my country of Belize, and it's about, I paid $3.50 Belize, which is about $1.75 USD. And I've been aching to try to get into this set. I'm sure I would have shared it with you in a previous art haul, but today is the day we're going to work through it because I have decided that for the rest of this year, I need to finish some sketchbooks. I have about 5 sketchbooks that I need to finish, and they're already completely illustrated. It's just me needing to get to them. So yeah, and this amazingly is not one of those sketchbooks that needs to finish, but yeah. So I want to get through some of these paints, and I really want to complete the I usually have my paint sets in categories. So this is in one storage container, and I want to complete that storage container. And there's only, after doing this, there's only one more paint left in there, and I'll be done with that. So and then am I going to know by next year? I'm strongly thinking about it. But right now, we're looking at these Pointer Pastel Watercolor Paints. So if you're a member of my Patreon, I believe this worksheet is going to be up for you to use. I have to keep reminding myself to put my worksheets up on Patreon for my Patreons to follow along if they so desired. So I believe this is up for you so you can follow along with me. And let me get off that tangent and get to this box. As you can see, I like pastel. Pointer, this is from the Pointer Blue line, which is their school line. Here, 12 beautiful colors for ages 3 and up. This is the back of the box. As you notice, they're not telling me what colors are in there. So yeah, it just says 12 set of 12 watercolor pastel tones and can mix together, and it comes with a brush. I'm just showing you. This is the side, this is the bottom, this is the other side, and this is the top. And I think I'm going to open it from the bottom. I think that will be safer for me. So now I can get rid of that box finally and open this adorable little set of watercolor paints. One of the things that I've done when I open my watercolor paints is I like to get rid of this little hook because I don't need it. So you will find in the future that my little hooks here, I cut them off. I don't really need them, so yeah. Now these open up. It has a clear palette. So yeah. You know what I did not do, and I just realized it? I did not prepare a swatch sheet. So I'll need to do that. But here are the colors. I think one of these could have easily, okay, it's not complete. I remember I had to fight with one of them, but I guess that's already swelled in for the time I've saved. It comes with a little brush. Yeah. These little brushes are people who have amazing artistic techniques, and unfortunately, that is not me. So I'll be using brush that I am more familiar with, which is probably one of my Milans, and I have next to me my Milan 311. So yeah. Back, bam. I do have my swatch sheet now, all pre-prepared. Oh gosh. Anyway, so I put it here as the pointer. I like pastel watercolor. Unfortunately, I'll probably can't use this at this moment. I do have to set it aside to dry. And I like to set my stuff aside, especially when I put ink on it, for at least 24 hours. So here they are in the beautiful cans. And this. But I do have a swatch sheet here all pre-set out, so I probably will be using this one. Same thing I feared. It's gonna be a bit chalky. Let's get a good workup of it. You notice the water is still on top of it, so yeah. And the order of these colors, I don't understand them, but maybe Pointer has a reason why they have their paints like this. Okay. Now, I'll show you guys what I'm doing. Because I had this off to the side out of camera view. Yeah, there we go. What these remind me of? These remind me of the basic watercolor cakes. That's what they remind me of. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this up and then I'll join you back again, and then I'm gonna tell you all about what I think of these Pointer I like pastel watercolor paints. Hi friends. Okay, so it's been about 3 weeks since I last saw you guys, and I've been doing some experimenting with these paints here. These are from Pointer. These are the pastel watercolors. I have them primed, and bit of notes. I did took some notes with these. I will tell you my grading of these because I didn't get as high as I would like. Things that I learned about these paints is there's no pigment info. It's not what we expected. No color names, not what we expected. However, these paints need stiff brushes. I did use a natural hair brush with these. I barely got any paints up with them, but when I use a more harder synthetic brush, this brush worked fine with these. This is the Milan 311 brush. These work fine. It's a very stiff Taklon brush, and these ones seem to work fine with these paints. In mass tones, yeah, you notice the color shifted in these. Let me bring you guys down a bit. Yeah, in a bit. You notice those colors shifting where like that white chalky film came to the top. So definitely these are on the chalky side. But interestingly, the white itself, because I did look at it, is not that opaque. Yeah, I did swatch them out. This is on mixed media paper. And if you notice, the white itself is not that opaque. There are colors that are opaque, but not the white. So even though it is a bit chalky, it is not a very opaque paint, which is really interesting. Oh, these paints, when it comes to wet on wet, wet on dry, I did some tests with them right here. I was able to lift. The lifting doesn't happen. Lifting doesn't happen when it's dry, because this I let it dry completely overnight and then I lifted. But if I just put down the paint and then I lift, then lifting is complete. But if I allow it to dry completely, it is not opaque at all. It does layer, but the layering is done in when it's completely dry, and it's done in thick layers. If I layer on top of it and I try to relayer that, it it kind of lift a bit. So layering is done, but it's only done when it's completely dry. I'm actually reading my notes here because I did write notes on these. These paints don't, as we expected, they don't granulate, they don't gradiate. The paints are considered these pastel tones. That's the thing, because if I looked at my swatches, even this swatch, only 2 out of the 12 paints here are pastel. Majority of them are just bright colors. So I would not consider this a pastel paint set because there is a lot of bright colors here. I will talk about this point later because It took me a couple weeks to do this review, and I want to talk about that because, not later, I think I'll talk about it now. I don't feel enjoy working with these paints. It doesn't makes me enthusiastic to want to paint with them. I'm not sure why. Maybe I've been doing a lot of bargain friendly paints over the past few months and I've reached my zenith. That could be the reason, but I didn't feel any joy painting with these paints. It did I did feel better painting with this paint on cotton paper versus cellulose paper. So maybe that could be because when I did the exercise on 100% cotton paper, um, it was a bit better. Let me see if I could. Yeah, it's right here. This was the piece I did here, and I did feel much better doing it on 100% cotton. Now this is a rough press paper, so yeah, it did make me feel a bit better because of the amount of scrubbing I need to do with these paints. I do need to pre-wet them, so while I'm doing this piece here, I am actually telling you guys that I'm wetting these paints, allowing them to dry. And the paints, the using, yeah, I already talked about that ability to live. It doesn't create any yeah, I did create significant dents in them, especially in the red color, the green, the yellow. Those were the colors I used, so I was able to create significant dents, but it's not a use it all up paint. I think it's because the paint is so stiff. The paint seems to dry whiter as it dries, and I already spoke about that white film that comes on it. It does seem to dry whiter. And even color lay down, it's better on 100% cotton paper than it is on cellulose paper. So now that I have read off my thoughts and you know what I'm thinking, let me quit this blabbering, bring this down a bit, and get to the painting. But all in all, I did have fun doing this. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey. And as always, bring you out of it. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.